I like collecting proposals from other companies because I like to know what other people are doing and saying and how they're treating their clients. So I ran across this one company, and they're not necessarily a household name, but they're a franchise system. And they got a bunch of offices around. They contacted me years ago asking if I wanted to buy a franchise, and I said no. Talking about this one company, and they were going to come into this house and do some dry out, do a little demo, do some mold remediation, and they gave her this document to sign. And it was like an emergency remediation. There was no emergency, but emergency remediation agreement. And it was so insane. This whole thing with them, I had to give you some warning about this. Anyway, they said, we cannot, it is impossible for us to give you a cost estimate uh, to how much work is going to be needed to be done. And that's crazy. And then they said, well, the insurance company is going to pay us directly. You're not going to be able to stop us from getting paid. And also, if the insurance company doesn't pay any of our bill, you're going to be responsible for the payment. So this was just really bad news. So she exercised the 3-day buyer remorse clause, and so she got out of that contract. And so she required them to give a cost estimate. And lo and behold, they could do that. Now, when you deal with insurance companies, you're going to use a software program called Xactimate. And it's to standardize how all companies that work with insurance companies, they give square footages and daily rent of equipment and all this stuff. But it's an attempt to standardize. And you don't have to do Xactimate rates when dealing with an insurance company. You don't have to do it. It just makes it easier for the discussion. But my company doesn't do it. And so they give her this estimate. And if you can imagine, the work is in a closet. So in a closet, they're going to put 6 snail fans, a dehumidifier, and a negative air machine. By the way, you never use a dehumidifier when you're using a negative air machine. That's foolish. So anyway, they're putting all this equipment in a tiny little closet, and there's no discussion in text format the scope of the work. What are they going to do? All they gave her was an Xactimate cost estimate, and that's Greek to almost anybody. Even if I'm in the business, I still can't understand what the heck an Xactimate. What's the scope of the work for Xactimate? You got to put it in writing, man. You're going to build barriers. You're going to use negative air machines. You're going to meet IICRCS 520 or New York Department of Health or somebody. There's no statement of expectations or conformance to a national standard, which should be required since you have real estate transactions and you have disclosure requirements, and you have to be able to say that work was done in my house and they did the work and it was done in accordance with national standard. You got to have that, man. She decided to not engage in any business relationship with that company at all. I agreed with that, and she's on a quest. I would just want to mention, I did I think it was like 7 or 8 minutes long. I did a video clip on how to compare proposals for remediation contractors. And you can apply these concepts to anybody, but it really puts you on a good, firm foundation of how to read and standardize and how to look and evaluate. And always remember, the cheapest company is always the worst. Always. You just can't go that way.